Okay. I know you're so happy to see each other. I know you're so happy to see each other. And I'm so happy to see you here. You don't know how long we've been waiting for this day. And it's sunny out here on this peninsula. Unbelievable. You brought the weather with you. Thank you so much. University community, students, faculty, staff, friends, neighbors, anybody who's found their way out here on this peninsula today to celebrate with us, welcome. I'm so glad to welcome you to the University of Massachusetts, and I also want to welcome back to our campus our mayor, Mayor Thomas Menino. Thank you for being here this morning. I want to thank Senator Jack Hart for being here this morning. Give him a round of applause. Representative Marty Walsh for being here this morning. We got a double dose of presidents. President Winston up here on the stage. President Carole. President Carole sitting down here next to my beautiful wife, guarding her. While I'm at it, good morning. I didn't have a chance. I had to leave early this morning. I'm sorry. But you look beautiful today. So good to see you. I also want to welcome all the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees members that are here. We just got out of our meeting today. Also, that includes our illustrious trustee, Stacia Lambert. Where's she at? Right over here. I'm also honored that Phil Johnston from the UMass Building Authority is here. Our Commissioner, Carole Cornelison from the Division of Capital Asset Management, or DCAM, is here. And where'd my senator go? Where'd you go to, man? I was looking at you. Tom, how are you, man? It's good to see you. Senator Kennedy, thank you so much for being here, man. Thank you all for coming to the University of Massachusetts Boston to help us celebrate the groundbreaking of this first great academic building on this campus since 1974, the Integrated Science Complex. Now, I know some of you are getting tired of hearing the Integrated Science Complex. For about $100 million, we could change that to your science complex. But while we're at it, there are alumni that have traveled from all over the country that are here today. Thank you all for traveling to be with us. Thank you to those who are on our Board of Visitors that are here today. Thank you to our our University of Massachusetts Boston person who happens to lead the educational system for Massachusetts, stand up on the public side, our chairman of the board, Charlie Devil, part of the family. So this building is just one of many concrete steps that our university is taking to bring our 25-year master plan to fruition. It's the first new facility that we envisioned for this campus to bring us closer to reflecting our loftiest academic ambitions and our most treasured core values. There are a lot of people here today who spent the past year and more planning this building. Every detail, from its research capabilities to its location on the campus to the green features in its design. They have been doing that. I have to thank my friends in the administration and finance part of this institution. I also, give them a round of applause. My friends who have been on the master planning office and they're doing their work. My friends in facilities. I also want to thank DCAM. Thank you, Division of Capital Asset Management. and our own University of Massachusetts Building Authority. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because without your careful attention, we wouldn't be where we are today. See, the way I had designed the building, it was somewhere out by the waterfront. But by the time you finished, it was doing all the things that I had thought about, and now they're there. It even is going to be a building that hugs you when you come on campus. And so we're so grateful for that. This is your reward, everyone here, for all your hard work. The beginning of a new phase of more hard work. We have more to do. It doesn't stop here. This is just the beginning. Your blueprints are becoming concrete. Your plans are becoming reality. I have been waiting for this day with much excitement, and I know you have too. I cannot overstate the impact of this building and what it will have on our university community. Our physical facilities will match our research capabilities. We already have the talent. We already have the talent. We've already have the talent. Our students and our faculty have earned worldwide recognition for their research and their findings. We're already growing in our funding, over $50 million in faculty research funding this year. Our challenge has been space. You all know that better than I do. I live pretty good up in the Chancellor's office. But our challenge has been space. Our challenge has been the capacity to support 21st century equipment, not 19th century equipment. Our challenge has been research facilities designed to encourage collaboration and partnerships across the disciplines. Our challenge has been providing our students with what they fully deserve, access to the best and most cutting-edge research facilities. We have achieved much with the space and technology we have now. I always say I don't see the cracks. When my friends visit, they look on the ground and they see cracks. I don't see cracks because I'm looking up at the future. I'm not looking down. I'm so grateful for the amazing work that our students and our faculty and our staff have done, laboring under unbelievable constraints. You've been there with water falling on your head, concrete falling down on what we used to call, I'm not allowed to say it, but it starts with a G. It has an A, an R, an A, and a G, and an E. Just imagine the heights that we can achieve in the fall of 2013 when the doors of this integrated science complex open. This pile of dirt may not look like much today, but in a few short weeks and years, it will represent opportunity and access for our students, our faculty, and our staff. In fact, it will provide them with 2,200,000 square feet of opportunity and access. It will house research laboratories for biology, chemistry, physics, psychology, and earth and environmental and ocean sciences. It will give home to our Developmental Science Research Center and our Center for Personalized Cancer Therapy. It will provide our biology department with state-of-the-art teaching labs. The integrated science complex represents the next phase of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. We're still holding fast to our urban mission, but we're letting our body catch up to our brains as we make this campus a greener, smarter, more efficient, more connected, and more beautiful place to teach, learn, and to grow. I threw a few of those lines together for you there, huh? All right. It's nothing less than our students and our faculty deserve. So I want to thank you again for coming here this morning. We got a great speaking program for you representing many different facets of this project's development. I'd like to start by introducing our Provost and our Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Winston Langley, who will expand on the future use. He's going to talk about the future use of our Integrated Sciences Center and its impact on our faculty and our students. And then we're going to move through this roster of wonderful people up here on this stage. Provost Langley,
Thank you, Chancellor. And since the Chancellor has recognized everyone, I think I'll ask you to permit me simply to say good morning to all. The integrated science complex will have many meanings for our faculty, students, and staff. It will certainly, as the Chancellor just said, be a site of the state-of-the-art location for the housing of a number of program and program areas. Research labs, of course, in a number of areas: chemistry and environmental, earth and ocean sciences, the Center of Personalized Cancer Therapy, as indicated, and the Center of Cognitive and Brain Sciences, an animal care facility, undergraduate research sandbox lab, conference rooms, among other things. But it will also be an important site for interdisciplinary and translational research, a research that emphasizes the fluid academic movement between basic and applied inquiry, as well as fluent across-disciplinary language to gain access to and wrest results from the insights multiple approaches to inquiry will enable us to have in order to deal with rather complex problems that the 21st century present to us. From a certain point of view, civilization itself may be seen as a conversation, structured and carried on among a variety of human activities. Even one of the two most important of these activities may be associated with science. Certainly, one may contestably claim that science may be among the most important of those activities in its relationship to this conversation. We see this conversation as forming the heart of our sought collaboration between and among faculty, students, schools, colleges, and universities. Most important, the complex will be a nurturing center for seeding strong undergraduate research in science, with future scientists learning how to invite from nature the disclosure of its secrets, but also, as well, to design solutions to major problems. Our graduate programs will be grounded on this form of thinking and conversation. While the building will not, as implied in the specific programs earlier mentioned, be the site of all areas of scientific inquiry, it will make an overall contribution to an enlarging vision of what it means to be human, directly and indirectly. Science has its own nobility that I think we ought to recognize. We belong not only to the Commonwealth and the nation, but to the entire biosphere in all of its organic and inorganic constitution. We seek to build, embody, and symbolize through our graduate and undergraduate programs the spirit of that belonging. Thank you for being here and for your support.
Now, as you can see, the Provost has a lot of ideas, and he represents those ideas very well. And we're so grateful that he's going to be here helping us lead what's going to happen on the insides of the Integrated Science Building. I also want to welcome Representative Linda Dorsina-Forey. Where's she at? Hey, how are you? So grateful to have you here today. Now, thank you again, Provost Langley. Governor Patrick couldn't join us today, but Governor Patrick is here because when I was coming back to the campus, one of the first things he asked me was, what is it that you need? And the response that most chancellors or presidents would give would be, I need to build something for this campus. And the first thing he said was, well, how much do you need to do that? 100 million, 125 million. Of course, I said 125 million. But it was so instrumental in thinking about having a showcase building for this campus that is right here in the city of Boston. And so we're pleased to have welcome on his behalf Secretary of Education Paul Revel. Where's Paul? Paul, come on up.
Thanks very much, Chancellor Motley. I bet you're probably thinking about 200 million actually, but yeah, we all know you're a little shy, so you'll get around to it. On behalf of Governor Patrick and Lieutenant Governor Murray, who couldn't be here with you today, I'm honored to be with you and to extend their congratulations to the University of Massachusetts generally and the University of Massachusetts Boston in particular on this auspicious occasion of the groundbreaking for the Integrated Sciences Complex. We're thrilled about this, not only in terms of what it means for the university and what it means for this campus in particular, but what it means for the Commonwealth as a whole. You know, we see our future as intimately connected with our capacity to develop in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are going to exist, we are going to thrive, we're going to prosper as a Commonwealth on our capacity to know more than others around the world know about key subjects and be more effective and efficient in our work in those areas. So it's a human capital development strategy that's going to be a winning strategy for the Commonwealth. It's brain power on which we have to compete. And the University of Massachusetts is the crown jewel of our human resource development system. And the STEM focus that this building represents and buildings like it all around the Commonwealth, where I've had the privilege to participate in events like this, and the governor's had the privilege to participate in events like this, notwithstanding our budgetary woes, which are among the worst that any of us have seen in our lifetime, we have made a commitment to infrastructure. And this $2 billion higher education bond bill, coupled with efforts that individual institutions are making on their own, are enabling us to build the infrastructure on which our future will depend as a Commonwealth. So as I listen to the Provost talk about this institution, as I read about the plans for extending partnership into the community, developing collaboration between students and teachers, this facility is sending just the right message about the future of the university as a whole and about our commitment to these disciplines, which are going to be so crucial to the future prosperity of the Commonwealth. So again, congratulations on this wonderful occasion. Governor Patrick would love to have been here, but he's thrilled at what you've accomplished today, and we look forward to working with you in partnership in the future. Thanks very much.
So thank you, Secretary Revel. You know, it takes a lot of partners to get things done, particularly here on campus, but also in the system. And I have two of my wonderful colleagues here today who are partners in this whole journey, both who have threads to this university, and they're part of this family, even though they've gone on to other campuses. I know every time they come here, they know they're loved, and I feel their support. Starting with the Dean of the Chancellors, G. McCormick, who's our Chancellor on our Dartmouth campus. And my brother from another mother, Dr. Michael Collins, who is in our Worcester campus. I saw Marty walking by the bus, but is he here? If he isn't, then he wants to be here. And so does, I know that Bob Holliff has a going away celebration for his administration and finance person on their campus. But I want to say a special thank you to someone who's sitting way in the back with sunglasses on, looking very beautiful today. Ellen O'Connor, stand up. Let's give her a round of applause for all her hard work on this effort. She's the person, Ellen O'Connor is the person who's had this responsibility every day for making this happen with all the folks. But listen, now there's a person that doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. He's an alumnus of this university. He's from this campus, from the class of 1988. When you talk about work ethic, there are two people that come to mind. One is our president, Jack Wilson, and the fact that we try to outrun each other across this Commonwealth and see who gets to the most places. A lot of times he wins, but I've been gaining on him a lot lately. But I used to think I was all that in this city until I walk in a room and they give me applause and I look behind me or in front of me, and the gentleman who was walking in is our mayor, Thomas Menino. He's a friend of this campus. He's someone who we can call on. I told him thank you, as I do all the time, and he always asks me why I'm thanking him. He's like, you don't need to thank me. Yes, we do, because your presence matters to us. Your presence is all around this institution, and we're so grateful that you're part of this community, and I'm so grateful to have you here today for this historic moment in our campus life. So thank you for coming. Come to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keith, and it's really great to be back at my alma mater to break new ground on the new integrated science complex. I went over to Arlington Street. The elevator never worked. Walk up 4 flights of stairs. I was in better shape then because I had to walk up 4 flights of stairs every day. It's so great to see what's happening at the University of Mass Boston. I think I want to give Keith and his team a lot of encouragement and a lot of support, because this university has really come forward over the last several years. It's probably one of the best we have in the greater Boston area and the state of Massachusetts, because of the leadership team we have at University of Mass Boston and the support it gets from its legislators in this area, because we know how important public education is to our future. And I want to thank everyone, the trustees and everyone else who's been involved in this. And President Wilson, thank you for what you've done. This is the first new building on this campus in 40 years, and the first step in your master plan. I'm glad you went through the master plan process, Keith. It was a wonderful process, wasn't it?
It sure was. Perfect process.
I'm glad you said it was a perfect process. I haven't signed off on it yet. That's good. Why is it good for the University of Mass Boston? Well, the science complex will provide the students with state-of-the-art labs, research space, and more. With an academic hub for faculty and students from all different subjects to work and to learn together. The science complex will serve as a symbol, visible from the road and the sea, of this university's commitment to driving progress and sparking innovation. This new science complex is also good for our city and our economy. So many of our city's economic drivers are based on science. Boston, you all know, is a leader in clean tech, medical devices, and life sciences. In fact, this afternoon I'll be making an important life science announcement later this afternoon. And emerging industries like robotics and video games are also part of this. But making sure your students have access to the best facilities now, keep even more of your graduates in Boston, and make sure our economy thrives for years to come. Also, the science complex, I tell you, will also fit nicely with the Kennedy Institute for the Senate. Both buildings will be dedicated to learning and deepening our understanding of science and government respectively. They will prepare the future leaders in these fields, so they both will serve as launching pads for so many individuals who will leave their mark on our world. The science complex isn't just a benefit to the local community. It demonstrates the direction Boston is moving as we build on our status as a leader in the global economy. It's all about fostering innovation. We must continue to provide our people with the tools to create new ideas and new progress. And just a short way from here, folks, we have the South Boston, the Innovation District. And what's happened over there is so exciting. Over the last 16 months, we've brought 30 new businesses in there. A lot in this whole innovation field that we're talking about. And a lot of those folks who go to school here, people working over there, or some of the ideas that come out of this innovation district, they'll open their business over there. You know, that's where the start of some of our great world businesses have started at the Innovation District at MIT, and I think in the University of Mass will continue to be a feeder for our Innovation District over in the South Boston waterfront. And I just want to say that I want to congratulate everyone who had anything to do with this, because this is, once again, bringing the University of Mass community together. It's a very special day. I look forward to working to build projects that are good for your institution and good for the city. And I just want to finally say, Ollie, this guy here, he's the best. You know, he is everywhere. He makes it happen. You know, we talk about academia, how slow they are, right? But not this guy here. He knows how he gets the job done. He came from the neighborhoods. He knows how important it is to get young people good education. I talk to him all the time about young people who go here. Their forefront with our Chancellor is what kind of education I'm going to give that young person, what kind of tools I'm going to give that young person to have a better future. I want to say to all of you, we have more people like him in public education, we'll be a better state, a better country. Thanks a million.
So thank you, Mayor Menino. You're going to hear a common theme as we introduce people and bring them up to the rostrum today. This is an opportunity to introduce a great friend of this university, our Senator Jack Hart. But before he comes, come on up. Now, when you walk into our Venture Development Center, you should know that all over that center are the fingerprints and the work of this gentleman right here, Senator Hart, in terms of making sure that we have the funding to go on and do that. But more importantly, forget the center. Holds this institution to a standard of excellence that we hold ourselves to. And so it's great to have a partner who understands what our vision is, wants to be a part of that vision, and has been helping making it happen. Senator Jack Hart.
And let's hear it one more time for our friend Keith Motley, the great work that he does. You know, Keith was saying a few minutes ago that he didn't look down at the cracks in the pavement, and I think because he's so tall, he actually can't see that far down. And Keith is quite literally and figuratively the big man on campus here, and he has done an extraordinary job. And what he has brought to this university is not just leadership and inspiration, but joy and fun. So I think he deserves one more round of applause for the extraordinary work that he does. I also, there's a woman named Denise Linsky here, and also a gentleman named, who's on the board of advisors, I think, for the university, and also a gentleman who works here at the university named Phil Carver. They are related to a gentleman and a former colleague of mine named George Keneally. Senator Keneally, along with Speaker Bob Quinn, how could I forget that? You know the Quinn building next door. George Keneally on the Senate side and Speaker Bob Quinn on the House side were the people that wrote the legislation to bring this university to the Harbor campus. So to the families of the Bob Quinn and George Keneally, please give a round of applause to Denise and also Joe Moakley, the great Congressman Joe Moakley, and one of my predecessors in the state Senate, used to on occasion be asked what his favorite bird was, and he would always reply, the crane, the construction crane, because there are so many jobs associated with construction cranes when you see them around. So let me just introduce Frank Callahan from the Mass Building Trades Council and Marty Walsh, the business manager from 223. From the folks from labor, this is a labor job. We're proud of that. And it's going to provide a lot of great construction jobs here on the... You've heard what's going to be happening in this wonderful center. Let me tell you what I think will happen as a result of it. The legendary Irish writer Frank O'Connor often told a story about challenges in our own lives. As a kid, he would say, whenever he and his friends traveled around outdoors over the landscape in Ireland, whenever they came across a wall, an obstacle, or a dead end, they would never, ever turn back. Rather, they would toss their caps, their scally caps, they would call them, over the wall, forcing them to climb that wall and thus to explore the wonders on the other side. With this integrated science center here at UMass Boston, researchers, faculty, and students, in conjunction with the Venture Development Center, together will rise to the challenges we have today, throwing their caps over the proverbial wall to explore new technologies in biology, chemistry, environmental sciences, physics, and psychology. And most importantly, this center will foster a better economic climate here in Massachusetts. We'll create more jobs and training programs and encourage our young students to excel in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. And finally, to allow our researchers and scientists to continue the inspirational work they do in improving the lives of millions of people around the world. That's what this center is all about, and I'm proud to have played a small part in it, and I'm looking forward to the wonders on the other side that we will see in the years to come. Thanks very much, and congratulations.
Again, the common theme. It's my pleasure to introduce Representative Marty Walsh, another great friend of this institution. But someone who I can always count on to make sure that our values are intact. If we're not doing the right thing about the least of those, he calls me on the phone and lets me know, he asks me the question, have you lost your mind? Don't you remember where you came from? And I tell him, yes, I do. No, I haven't. Let's make it work. And so I'm so grateful to have friends like that. Representative Marty Walsh.
And you notice the Chancellor said I do it on the phone because I never come over to the office. Kidding me? And he fluffed that up because it doesn't, not exactly that, you know, I might be crazy, but I'm not insane. I want to, today's an exciting day, and I know it's hot out there, and we don't want to go too long, and there's a lot of thank yous to go around, and I want to thank the community of Dorchester, of Harbor Point, of Savin Hill, of all throughout Dorchester, because the neighbors that were concerned about what goes on here are 100% supportive of the building and the new vision for this campus. So I want to thank any community residents that are here today for all of your support, because it's very important, I think, that you get recognized. Jackie recognized Frank Callahan and my cousin from the building trades, my cousin from the laborers, and Frank Callahan from the building trades. And I also want to thank the men and women of the building trades who have also been extremely supportive of this job. And I also want to thank the UMass system, and I want to thank the governor in particular for this job, because this job has a PLA on this job, not just for this job, but for all the buildings here. So on behalf of the building trades, I want to thank the governor of the Commonwealth for his commitment to the men and women of the building trades for putting a PLA on all of the projects over here on the campus. So I want to thank the governor for that. I also want to recognize the construction company. Richard Walsh is here from Walsh Construction, and I know that I see some of the supers out there. They're walking, they're looking at their watches saying lunch is over and they want to get out there, but I want to thank the construction company as well for your dedication and commitment to this project over here on UMass. Just very briefly, because I know it is long, on my dear colleague Linda Forey and myself, and Senator Hart and Senator Kennedy in the Senate. This campus center, this project was approved in the higher ed bond bill in 2007. So this has been a vision for a long time from the UMass system that was passed on to the legislature, where the legislature moved it forward, passed it forward. The mayor's office has been helpful in this thing. The mayor particularly himself has been helpful. So this truly is a collaboration. And Keith has talked about collaborations a lot of times. This is truly a collaboration when you have state and local government, where you have community and you have people outside the community coming together to make this thing happen. And I'm very excited about that. And also, one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet, in this building, there's going to be a Center for Personalized Cancer Therapy in this building over here. And the partnership with the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, which is very close to my heart, and the Harvard Cancer Center partnership are going to be on this campus, working in collaboration with our students here at UMass to make sure that all of the technology and all the new things in cancer therapy, some of the cures that we're looking for could happen in that field right outside there. And just very briefly, in 1974, 1975, my father worked in this building. My Uncle Pat was the head of the Laborers Union. My father worked over here in this building. And he'd come here working, and I would be being brought into the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, the Jimmy Fund at the time, because I had cancer. And I was just sitting here thinking today, because of my father and my uncle and their commitment to the labor movement, I'm sitting here today thinking, I'm here as a state representative talking about a groundbreaking for a science lab where the Dana-Farber is going to be part of, and he probably, that wasn't a thought in his head in 1974 and 75 when he was working next door. So I'm so honored to be here today. Sorry about that. I'm so honored to be here today for this groundbreaking. Last thing I want to say, it's been said a lot. I've been a state rep for 14 years. Jackie Hart's been a state rep and a state senator for the same time. Linda Forey has been there for a number of years, and our good friend Tommy Kennedy from Brockton has been in and around government for over 14 years. And I've worked with a lot of chancellors, and some of them are here today. Michael Collins, we've had a great relationship, and I can go on for all the chancellors I work with. There is nobody in the college system, at the UMass system, or any of the state systems, or any of the other systems for that matter, that has a pride for their job, a love for their job, a love for their students, a love for their campus, a love for everything that happens here, like Keith Motley. Just everything. The mayor spoke about commitment and needing people commitment. If we had everyone in our university systems throughout the Commonwealth, in this country, had half of the compassion, half of the commitment, half of the energy, half of the love for their institution as Keith Motley does, there is no question about where we'd be. So I want to end there. Just remember, next time I yell at you, you think about today.
I know. I roll the tape. Speaking about love for this university, our chair exhibits that love all the time. In fact, exhibits to a point that came back as chair again to serve this university. Want to welcome to this rostrum another friend of this campus, a wonderful friend of this university, our chairman of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, James Karam. Come on up here, Jim. Say hello.
What an incredible day, and I think you all know success is a team sport, and it's clearly demonstrated with the team that's in this room today. From our elected officials who support Keith every day, to our trustees, to the president of the university who works so hard with Keith to make this a reality, our trustees down below, including, by the way, Ed Collins, who represents organized labor, and by the way, guys, does an incredible job of trying to convince this real estate developer that organized labor really makes sense. Just not on my projects, Ed. Our building authority director, who does a wonderful job, the secretary of education, who is our great line of support directly into the governor's office and understands daily what takes place on this campus. And our incoming president, who has such a focus on the urban mission and urban campuses, I think he'll be an incredible resource for Keith in making this building into a reality. Our chancellors who show the friendship and camaraderie, including our dean who tutors Keith on a couple of occasions, and Michael Collins, who does an incredible job, and Angie, of course, you who bear the biggest burden of all. And I know how wonderful he is. Some days he's not as wonderful as others, but I know he is wonderful. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, and wait a minute, I missed it, of course, our most famous alum, especially on this campus, the mayor of Boston, who was always there to give Keith guidance and make sure he doesn't step on landmines that he should. I know he doesn't listen well, but I know you give the guidance. But on behalf of the board, I am here to say that this is obviously a very proud day. We are here to break ground on this state-of-the-art integrated science project, but in a larger sense, to take the first step in a 25-year master plan that will remake this campus, important to the future of this city and also to the Commonwealth and our university. The complex, prominent location will make an immediate impact on those entering the UMass Boston complex, welcoming students, opening doors to new strategic community partnerships, and helping with external funding opportunities. The master plan will renew and redevelop the Columbia Point campus while reflecting the community's strategic vision to become a model student-centered urban research university of the 21st century. Phase 1 of the master plan calls for more than $500 million in new facilities and infrastructure on the Boston campus, including new academic facilities, residence halls, green space, pedestrian and bicycle pathways. Today's groundbreaking is a reflection of years of comprehensive planning aimed at advancing UMass Boston's crucial urban mission to be an outstanding public research university with a teaching soul. It is another important example of efforts we are seeing across all 5 campuses to revitalize and reinvest in our academic infrastructure. The integrated science complex demonstrates the kind of cutting-edge laboratories, updated classrooms, and research space being built across our entire system. I would like to thank all of those who have supported this effort, especially our Chancellor, Keith Motley, whose strategic leadership and vision in transforming the university's 25-year master plan is becoming a reality. Important work will take place in this science center, and I want to thank everyone here who has helped to translate this dream into a reality. Thank you and congratulations.
Glad to see you back on your favorite campus today, Chairman Karam.
Absolutely.
Now, we have 3 people left. Hang in there. I know you're sweating a little bit. We'll be right with 3 left, all right? But before I do that, there are 3 people sitting in the front. Our deans who are going to really help lead this. Dean Donna Keisinger, who's going to be helping us with this. Dean Andrew Gazowski. Dean Joan Lean. Now, this next speaker is usually introducing me. So I'm delighted to have the opportunity to introduce her. Please welcome our student trustee, rising senior, and also economics major, Stacia Lambert. Come on up here, Stacia. More importantly, we've got our dollars worth out of Stacia over the last 2 weeks. This is probably like the 20th speech she's had to do for something that the Chancellor has asked her to do over the last week, including commencement. And so we're so grateful to you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Chancellor, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I actually really appreciate getting to address the university community in various capacities, and especially attending events like this, because today is a pretty important day. Today, we break ground on what will be the newest academic building that this campus has seen in decades, and it's a much-needed and welcome addition. Not only does its value rest in providing extra classroom space, which we've certainly have been struggling with over the past several years, but it also provides us research-capable facilities able to accommodate our burgeoning physical and social science research programs, many of which we were able to approve this morning. The increase in demand for such programs has also been coming to our university as more people look to this university as being the only public research university in the city. And they come to UMass Boston looking for that opportunity. So that we're able to have buildings able to accommodate those people is certainly an accomplishment on our part. And UMass Boston will carry this title further as the only public research university further. Once students, faculty, and staff are able to step in for the first time and utilize these facilities. The night before commencement, we were able to honor an individual within the community, Charlie Rose, and one of the things that he said was, leaders in this community and on this campus are charged with the task of planting seeds for trees that we may never get to enjoy the shade of. And that's what we're doing today. We're planting the seeds of a strong future, and we'll continue to do that over the next several years. We have a several-year master plan that we've been embarking on, and this is one step toward that. So I want to congratulate and thank all of the people who have come here to both celebrate this accomplishment and who over the past several months and years have been working to make this possible. Thank you.
Just one example of the talent that exists among our students here at the university. Next up will be University of Massachusetts President Jack Wilson, who will speak to this university system's increased focus on research, I'm sure. But he's joining us today, and it means a lot to this campus that this is one of his last official events. And I know you're going to be here just dropping by because you'll be working at the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate right here on this campus. And I know you'll just be stopping by to see how this construction is going because you'll be worrying also about how that construction will be going. I'll be doing the same. And so I'm looking forward to working with you on those endeavors. Let's welcome to the microphone our president, Jack Wilson.
Thanks, Keith, and thanks to all of our distinguished guests. And yes, as we sit here for the groundbreaking for this building, we just had the groundbreaking for the Edward M. Kennedy Institute just down the road a little bit, and indeed I will be here often to make sure that comes through. But today, it's an honor to be here because it's ushering in an exciting new era for UMass Boston and our Commonwealth with this groundbreaking integrated sciences complex. And Chancellor Motley is fond of calling UMass Boston a research university with a teaching soul. And I wanted to say a few words about that first part of the formulation, because UMass Boston is a research university. It conducts research that makes a difference in people's lives and makes a difference in the world. And thank you, Representative Walsh, for putting the human face on what that research really means to, to kind of one person, but to many people in the world. It really does make a difference in the world. And the research activity on this campus is growing at an incredible rate, with research funding more than doubling over the past decade, growing to $56 million, according to the most recent data, and it growing at a rate that's much larger, by the way, than the other institutions in the region. And it's part of the strategy of the University of Massachusetts, which reached over $535 million in total research. Which, by the way, puts us third in Massachusetts and closing on number 2. Not that I would mention who that might be, but we're not doing too badly. Fourth in New England. So this is really incredibly important for so many different reasons. And today we pay tribute to the dedication and commitment of so many people that are gathered here. It took a while to get here. But Chancellor Motley, in particular, has worked tirelessly to assemble a master plan that's a physical realization of the university's strategic vision. And by the way, when people were talking about, how nice he was and mentioning his wife, Angie, and she's part of that reason. She keeps him as good and as nice as he really is. So thank you, Angie, for doing that. We really appreciate that. Oh, yeah, we can give... But this building will have 220,000 square feet of space and sustainable green design. And the Integrated Sciences Complex will be a catalyst for cutting-edge laboratory research, training, and teaching that's going to benefit the entire UMass Boston community, as an academic hub for learning and a locus for collaboration between students, faculty, and staff. And the center will further propel the transformative research work that's already occurring on campus. One example that you heard about already is the Comprehensive Care Partnership Program forged and recently strengthened between the university and Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center. It really is a wonderful partnership. And it recently received $13.7 million in grant money from the National Institutes of Health to help further its goal of improving healthcare outcomes for underserved populations. Consistent with UMass Boston's strong commitment to educating a diverse student population, the Integrated Sciences Complex will serve as a vital tool in encouraging minority students to enter into scientific fields by providing a supportive environment for their academic development, and it will fit very nicely with many of the other strategies in the academic sphere that UMass Boston has, like the Mass Science Partnerships with the Boston Public Schools and so on, to do that. We have a lot to be proud of here at UMass Boston. We know that bigger things lie ahead, and today we take a very important step into that bright future. So thank you all for everything you did to bring us to this stage.
And so I mentioned that the Division of Capital Asset Management, or DCAM, was so instrumental in helping us get to this point. Meeting after meeting after meeting, team member after team member after team member, wonderful relationship building all along the way, wonderful input, lots of opportunity. Welcome to this microphone. Our Commissioner, Carole Cornelison, will come up now and bring greetings on behalf of DCAM. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, UMass Boston community and friends. I'm glad to be here. I'm Carole Cornelison, the new Commissioner of the Division of Capital Asset Management. As many of you know, DCAM is responsible for much of the public construction across the landscape of the state. While we build and repair many types of state buildings, courthouses, state hospitals, correctional facilities, projects like this one are aimed at providing world-class public higher education in the Commonwealth. We are pleased and proud to be a partner in the expansion of the UMass Boston campus, and we're excited about the construction of the Integrated Sciences Building that will stand for many decades to come as a testament to the vision of the Patrick Murray administration and the leadership of President Wilson, Chancellor Keith Motley, and the UMass Board of Trustees. I want to acknowledge our partnership also with the building trades, who are essential to the success of this project. Our partner for the next 10 years of this extraordinary expansion project is the UMass Building Authority, and we are looking very much forward and excited about this challenging journey that will literally change the face of this campus and expand the possibilities for the future generations of UMass students. I want to recognize and thank Mayor Menino and his talented staff for continuing to support this great institution and this project. And I also want to thank UMass President Jack Wilson, the UMass Board of Trustees, and Chancellor Motley and his staff for serving as such excellent partners here in Boston and throughout the UMass system. I must recognize the tremendous efforts of Ron Marlowe and members of the Access and Opportunity Committee. You all play a critical role in shaping this project as we move through, and as we move through construction, we look forward to this collaborative venture. I also want to thank Walsh Brothers, our construction manager, Goody Clancy, our architects on the project, and the great work they've done thus far. We look forward to great things from you in the future. We have a great team assembled at DCAM working on the Science Center, and I want to particularly acknowledge and thank Mike Lambert, Ellen Whittemore, Gail Rosenberg, Phil Schreibman, Dick Larson, George Carr, and Melissa Robin. In closing, let us all be reminded that tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. We hope you will join us in supporting this venture as we make the dreams of your past the reality of your future. Thank you.
Came on board and hasn't missed a beat. We're so grateful. Thank you so much. And last, but not least, and finally, I'd like to welcome University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees member and University of Massachusetts Building Authority Representative Phil Johnston to speak. Now, Phil is no stranger to this campus, nor is he to the Commonwealth. He's been someone who has been working diligently on behalf of not only public higher education, but all kinds of wonderful causes in this Commonwealth and beyond. And so, Phil, come on up. But while we're at it, I also want to thank my dear friend and Mr. Everything for the University of Massachusetts, Dave Mckenzie. Stand up so we can see you, man. I stole one of your lines.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Keith. Would he be a great candidate or what? But not for mayor. Not for mayor. No. Or the legislature. Actually, not in this state, but maybe another state. I was a young man when the program started, but I know you're happy to see me because lunch isn't far away. Thank you, David. David Mckenzie does do all the work at the building, or at least a lot of the work at the Building Authority. Thank you for all you do and for the support that you give to Keith and to the entire university system. And Frank Callahan's here, who has been recognized before by I think Marty Walsh and Jack Hart as the Building Trades Union representative. And it reminded me that when the governor called me to ask me if I go on the board, my immediate reaction was, another non-paying board? I've got, it's not anything that I really need. And he said, Phil, they're going to build the Edward M. Kennedy Institute on the grounds of UMass, and there's a lot of other building going on. And, some people think that the Edward M. Kennedy Institute should be built with non-union labor. I said, that can't happen. So we made sure with the votes of the Building Authority members that that would not happen, and that organized labor would be strongly represented here on this campus. And I think Bob Corrett and the other chancellors and the board will tell you that for future years we can be well assured that there are going to be a lot of jobs made available on this campus and throughout the system for union members who certainly deserve it and need it and do great work. I just want to say that when I come out here to this peninsula, I can't help think about the connection between the Kennedy brothers, President Kennedy and Robert Kennedy and Ted Kennedy, and what the University of Massachusetts at Boston represents. And isn't it wonderful that we have the two great facilities, the Kennedy Library, and I was here the day that was dedicated in 1979, and we're about to get the Edward M. Kennedy Institute, which Jack is going to run for a while. Peter Mead is here, who really was the founding director of it, and this wonderful university which represents what the Kennedy brothers were all about, which was that they believe very strongly that every child in our country should have the same opportunity that they received as a family of wealth and power. And that's what America should be all about, and that's what the University of Massachusetts at Boston is all about. That's what the entire higher public education system in our state and our country are all about. Robert Kennedy used to like to say that every person can make a difference and every person should try. Whether you're the mayor of Boston or you're Senator Hart or Representative Walsh or president of the university or a chancellor, or you're a faculty member or a student or a worker who's going to be helping to build this building and other buildings here, you're all trying to make a difference in the lives of a lot of young people who are going to be grateful to all of you for trying to make that difference. So thank you all very much. Congratulations to Keith Motley. He is the best. I love him.
So thank you, Phil. I mean, could we have another speaker up here from anywhere? They're all like, no. Goody Clancy, Goody Clancy. It's not just because I love to say your name. The architects, thank you so much. Done a wonderful job. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to thank Charlie Titus for always finding a way to give up a field when we need to build something. Whether it's the football field for the campus center or the soccer field for the Integrated Science Center, Charlie, thank you. But hey, listen, but I also want to thank everyone for taking the time to come for campus. Now, it won't be pile driving here forever, I promise, but it's going to be a long time. Pretty soon, we'll start to see our foundation and the frame and scaffolding and the crane and metal and concrete. And pretty soon after that, we're going to see the doors. We're going to see opportunity to discovery, but also a new University of Massachusetts Boston front door, a research university that has a teaching soul with an access mission that they'll never forget, and the facilities now to back it up. I invite you back to campus whenever you like to view the progress we're making on any of our integrated science complex or beyond, but also welcome back just to relax. There's nothing more beautiful than that ocean on a day like today. I know some of you are trying to get to it. Nothing more beautiful than that. And so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Allie and others, what am I supposed to tell them to do now? We're going to do some photos and some throwing of dirt. And then what's going to happen for lunch and stuff? We have a reception up on the plaza and a lunch over in the ballroom, depending on how lazy you are or aren't. Now, I won't tell you, but both of them have great food, right? But, okay, so we're going to be going over to the left. You're right.
All right. Chancellor?
Hey.